Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Leah's Love. I'm thrilled and excited to be here with you today. And we are talking about meditation, one of the most important and fundamental things you can do to have a life you've always dreamed of. And I know that sounds like a really big promise, but I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who's lived this. I've been practicing meditation for about 8 years, consistently, daily for 3, and it has completely transformed who I am as a person, my life, how I feel, how I behave, and my overall well-being. I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of meditation, but I'm also going to talk about how to do meditation in a way that anyone can do it, for the novice, for the seasoned meditator. Just 3 quick, simple steps that will really up your game and allow you to meditate in a way that takes your mind and your body and your spirit to a whole nother level. Now, just really quickly, the importance of meditation, there are studies upon studies about it, but if you have anxiety, if you can't sleep, if you're stressed, if you'd like to have better relationships, if you'd like to feel more fulfilled, if you'd like peace of mind, if you just want overall well-being, blood pressure, like you name it, there is nothing really that meditation can't fix. And part of the reason for why it's such a profound practice is because of the fact that it forces us to begin to regulate all of our body functions. And so something that's really important to remember about meditation is that it truly is a practice. It's not something that you're going to be able to master in a couple of weeks. It's not something that most of us will ever even be able to master in a lifetime, and that's okay. It's not about being perfect. It's not about doing it in a way that, you have these profound experiences or you get all the answers. It's not about that. It's about you committing to having time to yourself, to allow yourself to get to know yourself. And that's what meditation is. It is a process of learning yourself. So one thing that I want to mention that I think a lot of people don't talk enough about is that when you're meditating, your mind, will never be quiet. I have probably one of the busiest minds of or I should say I did have one of the busiest minds of anyone. I'm the type of person that I would wake up in the morning and instantly my mind would be running a mile a minute. I'd be thinking 1,001 things in the shower, no matter what I'm doing, constantly mind running. Since I started meditating, not only has that stopped, or I should say meditating consistently, not only has that stopped, but also I've started to be able to gain control over my thoughts. And can you imagine how that feels like? Once you are able to gain control over your thoughts, you're able to gain control over your emotions and your life. I used to be a huge crybaby. And when I say crybaby, I wasn't emotional around strangers or in inappropriate situations, but everything really, because I feel deeply, really made me feel all up in my feelings, I would cry at Full House episodes when I was at home watching TV alone. It was just out of control. And now I'm the type of person that even though I'm able to be moved emotionally by things, the emotions don't run me. And I really like having that kind of peace and stability in my overall well-being. It also has made me the type of person that I don't really care about what other people think. I started to gain a tremendous amount of self-confidence, and I just am living a better life, no question, because of my meditative practice. And so because I wish that for everyone else, I'm going to share with you 3 simple steps on how to meditate easily. So number 1, as I said, it is a practice. So commit to 30 days. It takes 21 days to build a habit. You are not going to become an expert meditator. Really, there is no such thing. It's a practice, which means it's something that you do over and over again. And unlike the saying, practice does not make perfect. You'll have days when you go into meditation and it's wonderful and you come out feeling like a new person. You have days when you go into meditation and you come out feeling like you just sat there for 15 minutes. You'll have days where you'll ebb and flow. It just depends. But again, committing to doing it is all that it takes for you in order to start seeing the results from it, the phenomenal results from it. So commit at least 30 days to see how you feel and document it. Keep a little journal, note how you're feeling day 1, day 2, day 5, etc. So then that way you can see your journey and recognize if you're seeing any differences in yourself over that period of time. Okay? Number 2, do it consistently for 15 minutes. Ideally, you want to be doing it in the morning or at night, like right after you wake up or right before you go to bed. I recognize that everyone doesn't have that kind of flexibility in their schedule if you have kids or whatever, but if you can commit to 15 minutes, getting up 15 minutes earlier, staying up 15 minutes later to find a quiet place to meditate, think of this as an investment in yourself. If you take this 15 minutes every day to invest in doing your meditative practice, think of it as paying dividends into the life force that is you. It will pay itself back in tenfold. I promise you. You can hold me to this promise if you commit to these 3 things that I'm suggesting you pick up. Okay, so commit 15 minutes a day. You can just set a timer on your phone. It's also really important that you dress comfortably, that you're in like a clothes that aren't like super binding, and that you're able to find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. If you live in a noisy or busy house, go into the closet, go into the bathroom, get earphones or earplugs rather. Get a mask to put over your eyes if you can't find any quiet, like dimly lit space where you can find some peace. Just make sure you find a little space of heaven in your car. If you don't have a place in your house, your car, or maybe a friend's car, your neighbor's car. Just find a quiet space where you can be alone and uninterrupted for 15 minutes, and maybe even bringing a family member or your friend or your kids along on this journey with you could help you too. So then that way you have a partner who you can be accountable to and someone who can do it with you. Okay? And then the very last thing to do is to focus on an ambient noise. So this is actually a tip that I got from Abraham Hicks, who is a phenomenal teacher and healer, emotional healer. Abraham suggests listening to like the HVAC system, right? So like your air conditioning or your heat. I've also found that like listening to like a waterfall sound on like my phone or something is really helpful. Or you can focus on like a shape. If you're going to focus on a shape, it's generally recommended that you focus on like a circle, because a circle represents unity and wholeness and completeness, or a triangle because a triangle represents one of the sacred geometry and represents one of the more like profound symbols of spirituality. So anyhow, really HVAC I think is a really good kind of simple thing to listen to if you don't have HVAC, listening to an ambient sound like waterfall or something on your phone, or if neither of those things work and you're more of a visual person, visualizing either a triangle or a circle will be really advantageous, and just focus on that thing. So when you're in meditation for those 15 minutes, it's really important to realize that you are not going to be able to stay focused on that one sound, that one visual image the entire time. It's very likely that your mind, and it's 115% likely that you're going to go in and out of being able to focus on that thing, and that is okay. I cannot stress how important it is that it's okay. Where you're gaining the mental capacity and the healing in this process is in the practice of getting up and committing and doing this and focusing. Even if you're only focusing for 5 seconds at a time, or if you sit down for 15 minutes and only 3 of those seconds of the 15 minutes you're focused on that one thing you chose, it's okay. It's okay. You commit to doing that for 30 days, and I promise you will notice profound differences in how you feel, what you're thinking about, and the clarity that you gain in your life. And to boot, the thing about meditation, as I said, it helps with physical ailments, with pain, with blood pressure, with stress, with anxiety. It helps you to gain clarity, to see things and bigger picture. You start to it opens up your intuition. All of these things help make us a better individuals, right? So if we are becoming better through our own personal individual meditations, then by default, we're making the world a better place. The more and more of us that are committed to being the best versions of ourselves every day, the better we are making the world. Like, you don't have to go out and I'm not saying don't, like, obviously be a lovely person, should you feel moved to be so, but you don't have to go out and do a single thing. You don't have to give a dime to charity. You don't have to go and volunteer your time. You don't have to go out and do a single thing to any other person in the world. But if you, as an individual, each of us as individuals, commit to being the best versions of ourselves, by default, by principle, the world in and of itself becomes a better place. So I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you commit to meditating, if you commit to being a better version of yourself, if you commit to healing yourself through this super duper simple practice, then you are in effect making the world a better place. You are Superman, you are Wonder Woman, you are Super Wonder They, and you are healing the world, not just yourself. So it is actually one of the most selfless and honorable things you can do, not just for yourself, but for the world. So that's just a little bit about meditation. Two other things that just came to mind I want to be sure to share. Again, as I mentioned, a lot of us have really busy minds. If for some reason you find it difficult to sit and meditate, and when you meditate, you should be sitting in a chair or laying down on your back if you can do it without falling asleep. You don't need to be in lotus position. You don't need to be in any like weird yoga position. Just sitting in a chair is actually the best way to be meditating in this day and age. And then two other things. If you have a busy mind, like I said, I did before I started practicing consistently, try doing a walking meditation. Like walk in a peaceful space or in a peaceful area and focus on a word. Sometimes moving helps us for those of us who aren't as good at being still. And so that's a really great way to start practicing. Also, if you're interested in guided meditations, that's a good way to start too for some. Send me a message down below and I'll respond to any inquiry about guided meditations. I have a few that I'm happy to suggest. Sonia Riccati is someone who has some great AM and PM activation meditations that can especially help with sleep and getting your mood elevated to get up in the morning and meditate. So that was one thing. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, the effects of meditating on the world too. I know I talked a lot about how it can help the world overall, but there's actually science behind this. There's a study done in 1993 in DC where there was a mass meditation that was done as a control group in collusion with the in coordination rather with like the police, like MPD and police forces and the government around the city, where they had people meditating over the summer during a time where people were like out and doing a lot of stuff, not sitting at home, to lower the crime rate. And the crime rate actually reduced by 23% every time this mass group, I think it was over 7,000 people, would get together and meditate over a 2-week period. So there's science behind this, guys. So anyhow, please meditate, commit to yourself 30 days, comment down below, let me know how it's going, and be sure, if you're enjoying my videos, to subscribe, click the like button. That way it puts me up in the algorithm so more people get access to these videos or share with your family and friends. I am sending you guys all of the love. Take care. Bye.